Right, hello and welcome everyone to my Arkham Horror living card game playthrough series. Basically I've been interested in this game for a long time. I've got the Lord of the Rings card game. I've actually got a series going on with that game as well on this channel. But I've been interested in this one for a long time at the same time. So I found a cheap copy on eBay basically, and I decided for some mad reason to make my very first playthrough of everything recorded. So I actually haven't played this game yet. This is going to be my very first attempt at a mission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run through the rules as far as I understand them. Please be kind, because again, this is my first time playing it. I have no idea how good my grasping of the rules are. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of weird things that I don't understand yet. So please be kind, and this video may take a bit longer than like your average first playthrough. But I guess, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go through the basic concepts of the game as far as I understand them. I think I've read through the rulebook enough to be able to confidently explain at least the very basics, and then we'll sort of go from there. Then I plan on playing through as much of the game as I want. At the minute, I've got the base game, which is what I have, is 3 missions, and they're all wrapped up in a campaign, which is one of the reasons I'm actually kind of interested in this game. So for those who don't know, this is a H.P. Lovecraft kind of horror-themed game where you take control of an investigator and you investigate various strange things, as far as I'm aware. Plenty of tentacles and larger-than-life horrors and all that good stuff you'd expect from a H.P. Lovecraft-inspired thing. What we've got set up now is the very first thing as set up by the tutorial, according to the Learn to Play book. So I think we're basically rocking the easy or standard difficulty. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Over the course of this, there's basically going to be 3 missions that are strung together sequentially, I guess. Like, you can get experience at the end of each mission, and you can improve your player deck, which is this thing over here, by, spending your experience points. I think you can like upgrade cards and stuff like that. I don't know much about the deck building. I'm just using the pre-constructed deck, which is, it's in the rulebook. It tells you what cards to get. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If this sounds like your bag, do watch. If not, I don't know why you're here or how you even found your way here. But welcome regardless, I guess. But yeah, I think just for those who don't know, I'm going to explain the very, very basic concepts in the game. And I will, from that point, not explain all of the rules, but explain them sort of as they come up, I guess. So, broadly speaking, we are on some kind of a story quest, and I have some flavor text I'm going to read after I've done the rules, but broadly speaking, our goal is to reach some form of resolution. This is quite a story-heavy game, so the resolution of each quest independently is going to be different from each other. The way you get there is the same. You can win or lose these games, obviously, and they both have repercussions going forward to the other missions. As far as I'm aware, there's no total fail state, so if I lose this mission, we can still move on to the second mission with that lost state carried forward in some way. Which is probably what I'm going to do for this first campaign, which is only, like I said, 3 quests is what's in the core box. But the core of the game is basically, if anyone's watched me play the Lord of the Rings game, it's kind of similar as far as I'm aware. So we have a player deck, and we're going to have a bunch of things in that deck that will assist us in our journey through whatever quest we're on. So in this case, we have, instead of just having a quest deck, like in Lord of the Rings, where it just details what you need to do, we have an act and agenda deck. The act deck is what we're trying to progress through actively as an investigator. We're searching for clues, scouring over different areas, and trying to progress through the act deck. And the game itself is slowly progressing the agenda deck, which you can think of it as like a kind of like a doom clock, I guess. It's actually going to be getting doom tokens put on it. That's what they're called. And once they progress to a certain amount, I guess bad things will happen. It's kind of funny because I actually have no idea what the bad things are. I don't know any of the cards in the deck. I don't know anything about this game. I just know how it works, and we're just going to try and get through it. So, few concepts to understand. We are Roland Banks, who is this guy here. Roland Banks has a couple of stats which is used for skill checks, and it's the main way you interact with the game. So he has 3 willpower, going from right to left, by the way. I'll put the card up on screen so you should be able to see it now. But if you look just above the text, there's 4 stats there. You've got 3 willpower, 3 intellect, 4 combat, and 2 agility. I don't know what willpower is used for. It's not in the rulebook. But intellect is used for kind of trying to discover clues. It's what you use to to kind of investigate a location. Because the way this game works, actually, is the reason we have this, like, tiny little cute Roland and then big Roland over here is because this is our stat card down here that tells us his stats, how much health he has, all that kind of stuff. But this is our actual position on the board. In this game, there is more of a board state than in most other card games. So right here, you have a study, and that's a physical location that we, as an investigator, can go to. In fact, we're going to start in the study, but I'll get to that when I get there. And as we explore, I assume, the study, we're going to unlock other locations and be able to move there as well physically, like it was on, as if it's on an actual board. That's kind of the broad, like, stroke of the game in that sense. You're going to go to these locations, you will use your intellect to try and discover things about these locations, and then using the clues you find from that, you put them onto the act card up here, and then you progress through the acts. And I'm assuming if you progress through the acts fast enough, you win in some way, and if you progress through the agenda deck fast enough, which is, I think it just ticks up every turn, more or less. If you progress through this too quick, you're going to lose, is basically the broad strokes of it. There's 3 types of cards in the player deck. You have assets, events, and skills. So for the record, in this game, you will get the option to do a mulligan. I did have to take a mulligan, but I did it all before I did it before filming, because shuffling takes a while, especially because I've got no sleeves yet. I'm just still waiting on them. But you, broadly speaking, have 3 different types of cards. So, like I said, in this game, most things are going to be interacted via skill checks. So the first type of card you have are skill cards, and these are ways to buff your skill checks, essentially. So manual dexterity here, for example, has 2 agility, 2 little boots on the left-hand side, just beneath where in the left-hand corner, basically. They have 2 little boots. That means if you commit this during an agility skill check, they will boost your ability by 2. So Roland has 2 agility. If I choose to commit this during an agility skill check, I'll boost it by 2. And skills typically also have something on them that benefits the skill check as well. So you can only commit 1 manual dexterity per skill test, which is what it says on the card. And then if it's successful, you also draw a card. So it's a way to cycle itself. And yeah, we've got 2 manual dexterities and a guts, which is the same thing but for willpower instead. So those are skill cards. The next type of card you have is asset cards. So these represent permanent objects, I guess, like physical objects, I guess is the best way to put it. So in this context, I've got a knife, which takes up a hand slot. It's in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see there's a little hand there. That means that takes up a hand slot, and we have a bunch of different slots on our character that we can to hold stuff with, right? So we have a knife, and then we also have an ally. So this is one just like a dude we can bring along. And they both give you various things that say on the card. There's a bunch of different icons that will kind of explain as we go through the game. But yeah, those are the asset cards, and then the final card is event cards. So event cards are just one use, do what it says on the tin, basically. So this event card, for example, Mind Over Matter, you can only play it during your turn, but until the end of the round, you may use your intellect in place of your fight and agility. So instead of using, so for example, if I wanted to boost my evade, one of the things agility is used for is when you're engaged with an enemy, when you can actually try to evade them, and the way you do that is by doing a skill check via your agility stat. So with this, we could actually use our intellect in place for our agility, thus boosting it by 1. You can also commit this. That's one thing I should explain as well. So while skill cards can be committed to skill checks and give you some sort of buff, you can actually commit any card you want, and they all have like a little, a few symbols underneath the cost in the top left-hand corner that show you what they'll give you if you commit these to a skill check. Now, the difference between them and skill cards is the skill cards give you some other benefit. So, for example, with both of the ones I've explained, if you're successful in the test, you'll draw a card to replace the card you just used. With these, you'll just discard them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how the player cards work. The other thing I should explain actually as well is the cost of them is always in the top left-hand corner. It's just the number. So in this case, the knife costs 1, Dr. Millen Christopher costs 4, and Mind Over Matter costs 1. But yeah, that's our opening hand. Oh wait, I just realised we have 6 cards. I have 6 cards. I need to check. I think I was supposed to draw 5. Yeah, you're supposed to draw 5 cards. Sorry, I'm an absolute muppet, guys. Right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to... I can't believe I managed to do that. How the hell did I manage that? I'm just going to shuffle these up and take one randomly. So let's get rid of that one. And then I'll shuffle that back into the deck. I'll just give it a very, very quick shuffle. Because I normally shuffle for ages, and it's probably not where anyone wants to see. So we'll just, yeah, not worry about that. So one other thing as well, I said cards will cost an amount based on the cost in the corner. The way you get resources is you start with 5. So these resource tokens, I don't know if you can see them on camera too well, but we've got 5 resource tokens here above our character. That's your starting pool. You have 5 to spend. And then it's at one of the phases, which I'll go through as we play, you generate 1 resource and draw a card. Okay. So that's probably good. And I guess we can start. I suppose I should just quickly explain... should I? Yeah, I should probably explain a few... Oh, you know what? One other thing as well, actually. Sorry, I forgot to mention. This is very integral to the game. So, as I said, the way you engage with the game is via skill checks. So if you want to investigate a location, you have to use your intellect versus the location's... I think it's called shroud value. To see if you succeed. If your number is higher than theirs, you succeed. It's as simple as that. However, there is a lot of randomness in this game. Well, I say a lot of randomness. There is an amount of randomness in this game. I have this bag here, which is way too big for the number of tokens in it. But here, at the very end, there's a couple tokens here. I'll tell you what, let me get one out. And what you'll do is, whenever you do any kind of check, you'll always draw one of these tokens from the bag, and they do various things. So in this case, I drew a 0. And that means my stat wouldn't be improved, it wouldn't be decreased, nothing happens, it's just this is 0, right? It would just stay as is. So yeah, that's an important concept. Literally every single time we do any kind of check, this is for combat, this is for evasion, this is for investigation, anything that pops up from this deck here, which I assume there's going to be, it'll all be down to whatever I draw out of the bag, modifying whatever stat I'm using in that particular instance. One other thing as well is I should probably explain how we progress through the act deck. So I said the agenda deck is broadly bad, the act deck is broadly good. So the act deck has a number kind of in the center bottom of it. And what that means is it says 2, and then it has like a weird little kind of like investigator hat. Whenever you see that little investigator symbol, that means the number times the number of investigators. So in our case, it's just 2, because it's 2 times 1. If I was playing this duo, it would be 2 times 2, so it'd be 4 would be the number of clues to progress through here. How do you get clues? You go to locations, you investigate. When you investigate, you move the clues on here to your investigator, and that is a resource you can spend at any point during your turn. So if I go to the study and I investigate, I succeed, I'll get 1 clue, pop it on my dude, and then I'll pop that clue onto the act if I want to. I'm assuming I can hold them like resources. There may be benefits and negatives associated with this. I don't actually know yet, because like I said, I haven't played it. And once you reach the limit on the card, then you move on to the next card. I believe you flip it over, and then there's probably going to be some flavor text, then you move on to the next section. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I'll explain creature combat as we get to it. Because honestly, I understand how it works in terms of rules sense, but I have no idea how it works in terms of the flow of the game. So that's kind of interesting. I think that's everything I've explained. What card did we lose, by the way? It looks like we lost our knife. So we have 2 manual dexterities, Dr. Millen Christopher, Mind Over Matter, and a Guts. Okay, cool. Let's go. Alright, so I'm going to read out the flavor text for the campaign, and then I guess we'll continue. I'm going to be referring probably to the Learn to Play guide, just because I'm not ultra confident in the way everything goes. Plus, I just want to make sure I get everything right. So this may be, like I said, this may be a long video, but I'm kind of learning along with everyone else, really, if you're new to it. If you're not, then this has probably been painfully slow, and I'll make sure to leave a timestamp to the actual quest start. But hey, anyway. Okay, so the campaign guide, Night of the Zealot. So that's the name of the campaign that we're playing. The Ghouls' Hunger, Friday, September 18th, 1925, Arkham, Massachusetts. It is the end of a long and abnormally hot summer. The first hints of autumn beckon, but a heavy heat persists, relentless. A silent, unspoken anger grips the town. Tempers are short, and in the last week alone, there have been numerous reports of townspeople coming to heated, violent blows with one another over simple misunderstandings. And now, a call from James Hankerson. He claims to have found a dismembered body in his barn. Blaming the weather would be too easy. There is something wrong with this town, and not a whole lot this old soothsayer can do to stop... And not a whole lot this old soothsayer, my bad, can do to stop the slide. My auguries indicate a small group of investigators will soon take note of these strange happenings and set forth to make things right. I'll be watching their progress, but I won't be holding my breath. Okay, so that's the flavor text for the campaign. The first mission in the campaign is called The Gathering. So there's some tokens in the bag that have like a unique symbol on them, and this is basically what it's referring to. On this card, there's an easy and a hard expert version, and they basically just modify depending on, you know, what it says on the mission card, which in our case is the easy side of The Gathering. So yeah, let's move on to The Gathering. That's what the first one is called. Okay, part 1, The Gathering. You and your partners have been investigating strange events taking place in your home city of Arkham, Massachusetts. Over the past few weeks, several townspeople have gone mysteriously missing. Recently, their corpses turned up in the woods, savaged and half-eaten. The police and newspapers have stated that wild animals are responsible, but you believe there is something else going on. You are gathered together at the lead investigator's home to discuss these bizarre events. So the lead investigator is generally like it's one of the investigators in your group. So in this case, it's going to be me, as I'm the only one, because I believe there are certain things that will refer to lead investigator. But yeah, that's the flavor text for that. We're kind of we're on a mission to work out what the fuck's going on in this town. I'll read out the flavor text for Roland Banks as well, just so you can get an idea of the character. So, Roland had always taken comfort in procedure and rules. As an agent in the Bureau, he was relieved to have guidelines to follow in any given situation. But lately, his Federal Agent's Handbook had been entirely unhelpful given the cases he'd been assigned. Try as he might, Roland could find no mention of what to do when confronted with strange creatures, gates through time and space, or magic spells. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have never believed it, and there's no way his superiors would understand. Roland knew he would have to handle this one himself. There you go. So he's kind of like he's the hard cop, right? He's the hard-boiled cop who's dissatisfied with how things are, and he's now taken justice into his own hands, or investigation into his own hands, I guess. Right. So before this, I did already do all of the... I did all the setup, I drew my hand, I've read all the flavor text, set the agenda deck. Okay, read the story on Agenda A. So, this is the first thing we're going to read. Okay, Agenda 1A, what's going on? It's late at night, you are holed up in your study, researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in the region. A few hours into your research, you hear the strange sound of chanting coming from your parlor down the hall. At the same time, you hear dirt churning, as if something were digging beneath the floor. Okay. Next is the Acts deck, so let's give that a read as well. Act 1A, Trapped. As you leap to investigate, the door to your study vanishes before your eyes, leaving behind only a solid wall. You're trapped inside your study until you can find another way out. We need to find 2 clues to progress. Then I believe you just set up the study, which is where we start. This is this thing here. All the other locations are out of play, which is something it instructs us to do. Each investigator begins play in the study. So we start here. I should read the flavor text of the study too. You've been investigating the strange events occurring in Arkham for several days now. Your desk is covered in newspaper articles, police reports, and witness accounts. Okay, when we begin in the study, so one thing about locations is they have an unrevealed and a revealed side. So obviously unrevealed is for when you haven't you haven't gone there yet. Revealed is when you have gone there. So because we start in the study, we actually flip this immediately and reveal it. Okay, so the door to your study has vanished. So we're here in the study, and we have no idea what the heck's going on. When the study is revealed, we put the number of clue tokens on it in accordance to this number here. So it would be 2 times the number of investigators, which in this case is just 1. So we put 2 clue tokens on it. Then I believe we can start the game. Cool. So I'll just read out all the different things you can do in a turn and roughly how it goes. So on the first turn of the game, you skip what's called the Mythos Stage, which is when you it's basically when you progress the agenda deck, and I think you draw a card and generate resources as well. It's during that, but I'll just read through real quick the different the different actions you can do on a turn. So the main phase is called so you've got 4 phases. Mythos Phase, we skip that first turn. Investigation Phase, that's when us as an investigator does the most stuff. Every investigation phase, your investigator can do 3 actions. Those actions can include anything from drawing a card, gaining a resource, activating an action trigger. So I'll try and see if I can find an example of that. We haven't got one in our hand, but as soon as I see it, I'll show you what it is. Engage an enemy at your current location. Investigate on your current location, which is the skill check I was talking about earlier. You can move to a connected location, so move from the study to somewhere connected to it. At the bottom, where these circles are, that would tell you where this is connected to. So currently, this is connected to nothing because obviously the door vanished and we don't know what's going on. But the generally speaking, the locations will have in the top left-hand corner a kind of symbol. So in the study's case, it's the yellow circle. If that yellow circle was down at the bottom in one of these circles for another location, that means you could travel from that location to the study, basically, is how that works. Play an asset or event card from your hand. Both of those are 1 action. Attempt to evade an enemy. So the way combat works is basically any enemy that is down in the engagement area will attack you by default during the enemy phase. But if you evade them, you actually exhaust them and kick them out to the room you're in, and then they won't attack you that turn. Is basically what evasion is for, and that's one of the things you can do. And the other thing is fight an enemy at your current location. So I would assume that also means you can fight an enemy engaged with you, which is just do an attack on it. But yeah, that's probably something I'll have to Google if it comes up. So yeah. So those are all the actions you can do during the investigation phase, and there's 3 actions you take. You can take 3 actions. I would assume you can take all of the actions multiple times as well if you wanted to. So if I wanted to draw 2 cards, I could also do that, but it's 2 actions, of course. The next phase after that is the enemy phase. So hunter enemies move, which I believe is just like, it's like a keyword on the card. Hunter enemies will basically move through locations to try and find us, and if they end up in a room with us in and they're ready, they go straight to the engagement zone. Then there's enemy attacks, so all enemies engaged with you and that are ready as well, so non-exhausted. For those who don't know, exhausting is when you just turn something on its side, and usually stuff readies up at the end of the turn. Any unexhausted enemy that's engaged with you will attack. I'll explain how combat works a bit later. Then finally it's the upkeep phase, so you unexhaust everything, so you ready everything, including enemies, equipment, whatever. You draw a card and gain a resource, and then you have to discard down to 8 cards. Then the next phase, which is the first phase actually, is the Mythos Phase, which is the one we're skipping right now. And during the Mythos Phase, we place a Doom token on the agenda card, so that's how the bad stuff progresses, basically. It just ticks up by 1 every turn. And then if you've reached the amount of Doom on a particular thing, you go to the next agenda card. And the next thing you do is you draw a card off the encounter deck, and you either add it in play, or you do what it says, or, much like the Lord of the Rings game, it just does a thing. That's the kind of onset of threats that are coming your way. So that's pretty much that. I think we're good to go. I think that's basically everything. So we start here, and it's the investigation phase. That's the first thing we do. So we have 4 resources. I'm actually thinking we might just play Dr. Millen Christopher, because let's do that. So we're going to spend 4 resources. Initially I was like, that seems quite expensive, considering I have no idea how this game's going to flow or anything like that. But he gives us +1 to intellect, which means we'll be able to investigate easier. And also, we gain a resource after we successfully investigate. That's one of the things on his card. So we're going to play Milan Christopher. Then, next things next, we're going to investigate the study. So we need to beat the value of 2. Let me just double check this in the rules. I'll edit out some of this if it's a bit too long. Yeah, so when you investigate, you check your intellect, which in my case is 4. It's 3 by default, then buffed by 1 by Milan Christopher. and you check it against the shroud value, which is this one here. So we'll investigate. Just giving the tokens a good old shuffle. Stick my hand, you know what, just stick my hand in the bag, just so you can see that I'm not cheating. I can't see into this bag in any way. Give him a good little shuffle. And we'll draw. Ooh, okay. We've drawn the Cthulhu legs. Right, what does that do? I thought it was supposed to be on here, but it's not. Hang on. Oh, wow. Okay, so that sucks. That's actually an automatic failure, is what that means. That's an auto fail. Okay. Cool. So first one did not go so well. Are there any consequences? I don't think there's any consequences for that. We just failed the skill check. Okay, yeah, so when we fail a skill check, nothing happens. In this particular case, we just fail to investigate, so we don't get a clue. That's it. That's the only thing, though. Okay. Well, I guess in that case, we might as well just try again. I don't see any reason not to. We basically just want to make progress. So we used one action to play Milan Christopher, and we spent one action to fail a check. So let's try again. -1. Okay, so this time we succeed. So we move one of these clue tokens from here onto Roland Banks. Pop this back in the bag. Cool. That's our first investigation phase. So the next phase, if I remember correctly, sorry, is the enemy phase. There are no enemies, so nothing happens there. The upkeep phase, so we ready anything. No need to ready anything. Oh, I just remembered, sorry. So on Christopher Nolan, on Milan Christopher, my bad. After you successfully investigate, gain a resource. So we did one successful investigation, so we gain a resource. Cool. Okay, so enemy phase happens, nothing happens. Upkeep phase, so we draw a card. Okay, we got the Old Book of Lore. So this is a 3-cost asset, and we can exhaust it. So on this Book of Lore, you see the little arrow that points towards the first bit of text? That's the action arrow. So that means to use this, it will take one action during our investigation phase, right? So what we can do is choose an investigator at your location. That investigator searches the top 3 cards of his deck for a card, draws it, and then shuffles. Okay, cool. So this is a way to get cards out of our deck. That actually seems really good. So yeah, we draw a card. We gain a resource. Then that's pretty much that. So now we just place a Doom token on the current agenda. So the agenda goes to 1. This particular agenda needs 3 tokens on it to progress. Okay. Then we draw a card off the encounter deck, and that's that whole turn. Oh, this is the Mythos phase, so this is technically the first part of the next step, actually. So, Doom token, draw a card off here. What have we got? So we've got Swarm of Rats. They're a hunter, and yeah, that's some pretty gnarly art, actually. So it just says, a horde of cruel rats skitters forth in an undulating weight of claws, teeth, and mottled fur. So when you draw an enemy off the deck, it goes straight into the engagement area. It doesn't actually... Oh my god, there's way more glare on... I didn't realise there was glare there. Okay, there we go. So it's engaged with us straight off the bat. That's how that works when you spawn an enemy. Honestly, we're probably just going to, like, fight it, because it has 1 health. So all we have to do is like, hit it once, and then we're good. And it costs 3 to evade it. So yeah, we'll just do that. Cool. But that's done. That's the Mythos phase. So now we go back to the investigation phase. So, okay. I guess first things first, we might as well fight these rats, because sincerely, we have full fight. We have to. I should explain. Okay, so the way enemies work is they have 3 different stats. All of them are relevant for something. So the stat furthest to the left is their fight stat. So that's the stat you compare against when you're attacking it. You need to complete a combat skill check against that number. So in my case, I have 4 fight, and the rats have 1 fight. So I need to basically have higher than 1 to succeed. So if I draw a -3, then it would be a tie. You know, I probably should have actually checked what happens in the case of a tie. You know, I'm going to check that right now, because I have no idea what happens in the case of a tie. And I'll just edit this out, because I really should have checked that beforehand. Okay, I just found it. It's very simple, actually. You have to... It's tie or have higher. So the only way you can fail is if you have less than what the... less than the value. So we have to do a check against one fight on the Swarm of Rats to defeat it. Which only costs, you know, we have to have higher than 1, basically. So we have 4 fights. We have to draw -3, and we have to draw -4 to fail, or draw the auto-fail token again. But yeah, sorry, when you succeed a fight check against an enemy, you put 1 damage on the enemy, unless you have some equipment that changes the amount of damage you do, okay? In the rat's case, that will actually instantly kill it, because the number in the middle is its death. So we'll fight it. If we deal a hit, then the rats will die immediately. And then the final stat on the far right is the evade stat. So what we can do, another thing we can do, is instead of fighting this, we can actually try and dodge it, like, preemptively. If we do a successful evade, what happens is the enemy is no longer engaged with us, it goes to the location we're currently in, and it's exhausted. So it will be, for a turn, incapable of hunting us down, basically, is what that means. But again, in this case, we might as well just fight the rats. So first things first, we'll fight the rats. I don't want to discard any cards to this check, because we're miles ahead. The only thing we have to avoid is drawing that fucking auto-fail again. Pray for me, chat. Pray for me. Oh, actually, sorry, one last thing. How does the enemy do damage to you? So, right in the middle of the card, where it says enemy, on the left you have like a heart, and on the right, sometimes you'll have like a little brain. That represents the amount of damage. So if you see 1 heart on an enemy, that means it deals 1 damage whenever it attacks you. There's no draws or like randomness in that. It just deals 1 damage to you if it's engaged and ready to attack. Yeah, my character has 9 health, and he has 5 brain, which is like your, I guess, sanity. But in this case, the rats only deal physical damage. They don't deal any kind of, you know, any kind of horror damage. So we draw a -1. Doesn't matter. The rats... sorry, I should put that out there. But yeah, we draw a -1. Doesn't matter, the rats are deceased, so we'll pop these in the discard pile, which I'll just put over there. Put this back in the bag. Yeah, I think you're just going to have to trust the fact I'm not cheating. I don't really know how else to put it. But yeah. Anyway, I guess we will... I mean, we'll investigate again. That's the only thing we really can do. Oh, I just remembered. So... Roland Banks, whenever he defeats an enemy, I actually discover 1 clue at your location, limit once per round. I will double check what this actually means, just to be sure, because I'm not sure what that means. I would assume, I don't know if it means we put an extra clue token onto the thing, as in we discover a thing, or if it means we take this one straight onto Roland when we defeat an enemy. Let me just double check that. What does that specifically mean, discover? Cool, just found it. Okay, so basically, yeah, when we defeat an enemy, we discover 1 clue at our location, limits once per round. What that means is we take this clue and we put it onto our dude. So we actually don't need to investigate the study any further. We will just put our 2 clues onto the act card, not doom token, clue token, there we go. And then that's us, we've succeeded on this particular thing. So we'll flip this, have a little read, and move on. Okay. The door on the floor. You notice that the edges of your newly purchased rug are tattered and mud-stained. Finding this odd, you shift the furniture aside and pull back your rug. To your surprise, you see a door leading out of your study. You slowly turn the knob and the door swings open, revealing the hallway below. You jump through the doorway, landing on your feet on soft dirt. The door to the study slams shut above you. The smell of burning wood fills the narrow hall, intermingled with the scent of rotten decay. Put into play the set-aside hallway, cellar, attic, and parlor. Okay. So, okay. So put into play the attic, hallway, attic, cellar, and parlor. Oh, that's actually everything. So, I'll tell you what, we'll put these into play over here. So there's our 4 new locations. Discard each enemy in the study, there isn't anyone. Place each investigator in the hallway and remove the study from the game. So the study is now, we've completed this location, I guess. This gets discarded. Move these over here a bit. And then we land in the hallway. Okay. So, a moment of panic and Disorientation strikes you as you land upon the floor of the hallway. The world spins as if it turned off on its head. Then we flip this to its revealed side. So it has 0 clues here. The walls of your house are splattered with mud, and your hardwood floor is gone, replaced with a dirt path. Cool. So we're here. That was the first location. Oh, sorry, first action that turn, because we did the yeah, that was the first action this turn. So we've still got 2 more. Okay, cool. So we'll pop that at the bottom of the act deck, and then we've got the next act. So the barrier. A glowing barrier blocks your path to the parlour. As you move towards it, intense heat forces you to back away. Picking up a handful of dirt, you toss it at the barrier and watch in horror as the dirt incinerates. Perhaps there's something in the cellar or the attic that can help. Objective. When the round ends, investigators in the hallway may, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance. Okay. So, I think what that means is we have to... So, this requires 3 clues to pass, but I think we can only do it from the hallway, basically, is what it means. Okay. Yeah, cool. Alright, so it says actually on the parlour card here that the entrance to the parlour is blocked by an unfathomable barrier. You can't move into the parlour. So we're going to have to... Okay, so yeah, I get it. We have to go to the cellar and the attic to try and work out what in the fuck is going on, basically. What is this on my card? Jesus. There we go. I said this was secondhand, so I'm not surprised there's some random stuff on these cards. Anyway, okay, so we're going to go to the attic or the cellar first. Okay, let's have a little read. So the attic says the smell of rotten meat assaults your nostrils as you approach the attic stairs. That doesn't sound that pleasant, not gonna lie, especially as a vegan. Oh no. Cellar. The stairs leading down to your cellar are slick and they glisten with a thin layer of ice. Do we want Ice City or Rotting Flesh Town? I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it makes the most sense to go to the cellar. Ice is fine, right? What's the matter with ice? Ice is chill. Okay, so, literally. So, action 2 of this investigation phase will go to the cellar. So, we'll flip this over. There's 2 clues here. Okay, after you enter the cellar, take 1 damage. Fan-fucking-tastic. So, we just get whomped once. Okay, your cellar seems to have been replaced with an underground network of icy tunnels and caverns. The cold chills you to your core, or to the core. Okay. So we have 4 intellect total, including our Dr. Milan Christopher. And we need 4 to succeed. So I actually don't know if we want to investigate right off the bat. That seems kind of dumb. Instead, what might be smarter... We've got 1 action left. I think we'll play the Book of Lore for 3... it's a 3-cost item, and it goes into our hand slot. Yeah. I think we'll play the Book of Lore, because that will help us get extra cards in the future. Maybe it's better... I'm thinking... Okay, so either generate a resource or play the Book of Lore. I'm kind of torn on which one I should actually do. Here's the thing, right? I don't know, because I'm new to this game, I don't know what's better. Generally speaking, do you want to amass resources, or do you want to have, like, lots and lots of ways to obtain new cards? I guess that's kind of the question at the minute. And I think in this particular case, I am going to play the Book of Lore. I feel like that would just be better in most games. I have no idea if it's going to be better here, but there we go. Book of Lore is available. That's our final action for the turn. So now we're going to go to the enemy phase, in which nothing happens. Then we go to the upkeep phase. So we ready all exhausted cards. No one is exhausted. We generate resource. Draw a card. We drew the magnifying glass, so it's an asset. So we can actually play this as well. And we get +1 while investigating. This also has the keyword fast, which I can't remember for sure what that means. So let me just double check now. I'll see you in a second. Okay, so a fast keyword means that it doesn't take an action to play it, and it can be played during any player window. There's a lot of player windows in this game, but I I'm still new to the game, so I'm not going to worry about them too much. Just basically know that in between certain actions, like between enemy attacks and stuff like that, there are ways for the player to make actions. But I don't think for this scenario we're really going to need to delve too deep into that. So let's not worry too much about it for now. Just know that fast means it doesn't take an action to play it in our investigation phase, basically. Okay, so we drew a card, we generated a resource. We don't need to discard down, so we go to the Mythos phase, put a Doom token on the agenda. Then we draw a card off the encounter deck. Okay, Treachery, Rotting Remains, Terror, Revelation, Test Willpower. What is the? I wonder what the 3 in brackets means. For each point you fail by, take 1 horror of damage. That seems pretty nasty. A sickening display of gore causes you to retch. You're glad this wasn't you. Okay, so we just came across something pretty horrific. Rotting Remains is. I mean, I'm not surprised. Some Rotting Remains, right? Let me just check. Oh right, the 3 is what we have to beat. I understand. Okay, so yeah, we have okay, so we have. You know what? We might as well use Guts just to be sure we don't fail. I mean, we have 3 by default. We have no buffs. If we play Guts, commit this to it, then we buff it by 2. So we're currently winning by 2, and if we succeed, we get to draw another card. So let's play Guts. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, we got Hood. Okay, what does the Hood do? Okay, -1. If you fail, take 1 horror. Okay, so that's actually fine. It's a good thing we buffed it, because we would have failed otherwise. But we don't fail. So it's -1. It takes us down to 4, which is still above the requisite of 3. So we succeed on this. We take no horror. And that does also mean we draw another card off the player deck. We've got Working on a Hunch. So it's a 2-cost event with Fast again. Play only during your turn. Also, if this was multiplayer, I couldn't play it during another investigator's turn, and it just discovers a clue at your location. That seems pretty dank, to be honest. All right. So I mean, I guess we only have 1 resource. I feel like I should just play the Magnifying Glass, to be completely honest with you. I'm also starting to think these manual dexterity cards aren't as good as I thought they were initially. All right. Yeah, we'll spend a resource. We'll throw out the Magnifying Glass. Okay, how do I want to lay this out? There's just a weird amount of glare from over there, which I'm a little surprised by. Tell you what, we probably don't need as much room where Roland Banks is. So if we put all this stuff like here, and then have engagement area up here, then this can be the board. I think this makes the most sense. Hopefully this is enough room. I guess we'll find out as we go through more things. But hey, that's fine. Anyway, so 1 action. Oh no, this didn't take an action. We played the Magnifying Glass. We're currently only on 5. We can buff it by 2 with that Working on a Hunch card. But I feel like for 2 resources, it's probably easier to just, it's probably better to just spend it on a, you know, on a, oh my god, what's the word? What am I trying to say? It's probably easier to just spend it on, you know, to get a clue, basically, because it's 2 resources and you get a clue. Tell you what, first thing we'll do then, first actual action, is we'll exhaust Book of Lore and use its ability. So we choose an investigator at our location. This will be us. That investigator draws the top 3 cards of the deck. Oh, sorry. We search the top 3 cards of our deck, and then pick. Basically, we pick 1 and draw 1. Okay, so we have a gun, some horrifying medical texts, and a flashlight. So I don't know if any of these are that useful, to be completely honest with you. We kind of wanted. Wait, hang on. What does? Okay, medical text. You use an action to choose an investigator location and test 2 against our intellect. If you succeed, heal a damage. Okay, so medical text lets us heal. Basically, I mean, it's a gun. We're not going to be using it to fucking investigate, are we? We're not going to be like holding up some books, interrogating a hallway with a gun. It's for combat. We get that much. Flashlight uses 3 supplies, so I believe we put 3 tokens on the flashlight, and then spend. Okay, so you can spend 1 on the flashlight to investigate. Your location gets -2 shroud. That's actually really good. So we're going to take the flashlight, and then these cards get shuffled back into the deck. I believe, anyway. Yeah, shuffles remaining cards into their deck. Okay, cool. So Alright, I think I'm starting to get the flow of this game a little bit. It's taken a little while. This video's probably already, like, way too long. But that's okay. We're going to edit it down a bit in post. But yeah, this is an interesting game. I know a lot of people that really, really love this one. So I'm curious to see where it's going to go and how interesting the stories are. Because at the minute, it seems cool, for sure. But I definitely... one thing I really like is I like games that feel like more of a puzzle. This seems a bit less like a puzzle and more like a vessel for stories, which isn't, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a personal preference thing. But it definitely seems interesting. I mean, we're still very early on, so, you know, still like a million things that can happen. Still a million surprises, I'm sure, the game can throw at me. So yeah, that's reasonably shuffled, I think. So that was our first action, and we got ourselves a flashlight. We really want to play it, because... I mean, that just seems insanely good. Oh, you know what? I just realised. Fuck, I forgot about this. So, we only have 2 hand slots. And our Old Book of Lore and our Magnifying Glass are both a hand slot. I did not realise that. So, if we want to play the flashlight, we only have 2 hands. So, we actually can't play the flashlight. What a conundrum. Do you know what? We could discard the flashlight. -2 Shroud 3 times is pretty good, though. Man, this is a tough one. I actually don't know what to do here. We want to investigate this turn for sure, but the problem with investigating is just that 4 Shroud is so high. I'm only on 5. I can buff it for 2, but again, I might as well just use that card to pull a clue off, I think. Could always discard the flashlight to buff it to 6. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just try. You know what? It costs nothing to investigate. Unless we draw certain tokens. So I think we just spend... I think we just try and push it through and see how likely it is to succeed. And when I constructed this, there's 16 tokens. If we get a -1 or better, we succeed. I think about half the bag is -1 or better. I think. Because I think there's 3 -1s, 2 zeros, and 2 +1s. Which would be 7 out of 16. So slightly worse than half, actually. Let's give it a shot. So we'll investigate once. We're not going to discard anything to do so. We drew a skull. Oh, Jesus. Okay, -X, where X is the number of ghoul enemies at your location. Well, that's 0, so we actually succeed. So grab one of these clues, and then when we grab one of the clues, after we successfully investigate, we gain a resource. Do we want to go again? I think we just want to go again. That didn't seem that bad. I forgot that the... Yeah, I guess some of these cards are going to lead us to not fail either, because they're just -1, right? Yeah, I just forgot what the some of the special ones did. Yeah, let's try again. We should actually just be able to get both of these now thinking about it. Okay. This is not as hard as I thought. Initially I was like, wait, how the fuck are we going to do this? 4 seems so high. But I guess there's no penalty to failing, really. Outside of certain contexts. -3, that's pretty nasty. -3 token is what we ripped. So that one's a failure. Very much a failure. Okay. I believe that's all 3 actions, though. Because we... What did we even do? I can't even remember now, to be honest. Oh, we used the Book of Lore and then we investigated twice. Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. So enemy phase happens. There's no enemies, so nothing happens. In Upkeep phase, so we unexhaust everything. Draw a card. We got medical texts. Okay, good to know. So we can use that to heal ourselves if we want to. Also takes a hand slot, though. We might just use that for fight. Because it's not really that useful for us right now. We'll generate a resource. I think that's everything. We don't have 8 cards, do we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. So then we go to the Mythos phase. Okay, so this is actually going to get its 3rd Doom token. So I believe we just flip it now. Okay. A lapse in time. Your house continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed and the ground in many rooms has turned to dirt. It is almost as if you have been transported somewhere else entirely. Every now and again, you recognise elements of your former home. The leading investigator must decide, choose one. Either each investigator discards 1 card at random, or the lead investigator takes 2 horror. Honestly, loads of our cards are dead. So I actually think I'm just going to Yeah, I think I'm going to discard 2 cards at random, so I'll just shuffle these up. And I would say, chat, you can decide what ones you want me to discard, but I don't think... well, there's no one here, right? This is recorded. That's not how recorded content works. Okay. So I'm going to go for that one and that one. What do we get rid of? Oh, discards 1 card at random. Sorry, okay, so we'll discard this one. Oh, that's annoying. Working on a hunch. That's probably the best card in our hand, to be honest. It was one of the best cards in our hand anyway. It's actually useful. F. Anyway. Okay, the next agenda says, Rise of the Ghouls. The floor beneath you is giving way. You see a vast network of tunnels and twisting into the darkness below. Shapes and silhouettes of strange creatures move swiftly through the tunnels, trying to find a way up. You probably don't want them to be here when they do. Oh, sorry, you probably don't want to be here when they do. I see. There we go. Okay. Alright, so, new turn. Investigator Phase. Honestly, just fucking hook me up with an investigation, mate. Let's go again. Now knowing that most of the skulls... Or sorry, most of those things will give us a success. I actually think we've got a decent chance. -1 isn't that bad. I think half or over half this bag, just slightly, is going to be successes. Now looking at it. Wait, we didn't... I just realised. It's not a new turn yet. We need to draw... At the end of the Mythos phase, we need to draw off the encounter deck. It's very important. Do not forget. Okay, it's another swarm of rats. That's fine. Oh, well, actually, that's really good, because we can just fight the swarm of rats. Yeah, we're just going to, like, punch them, I guess. And you know what? We'll even discard medical text. Will we? -3 will still be a success. No, we won't. There's no reason to do it. -3 is very unlikely to fail. Okay. We have got a... Where are all the tokens? Oh, there we go. Okay. -2. Cool. So we succeed. We punch the rats right in their stupid rat face. And the rats take a damage and die immediately. Pathetic. Cool. So that's our first action. Next, we'll investigate. Oh, no. Wait, I just realised we don't need to. When we defeat rats, when we defeat any enemy, we discover 1 clue at your location. So we just grab that. So we can actually now move back to the hallway. So that's action 2. Then we'll move to the attic for action 3. Okay, forced. After you enter the attic, take 1 horror. So this is the brain damage. There are 2 clues in the attic. And that's pretty much it. That's the end of our turn. Cool. So we go to the upkeep phase again. Functionally, nothing happens in terms of readying and exhausting. We gain a resource, draw a card. Ah, okay. Oh, no. Wait, hang on. This is important. Draws a card and gains 1 resource. Here's a question. I just drew my weakness. So when you build a deck, your character has to have a certain number of weaknesses in the deck based on, you know, building. This card says Revelation, discard all your resources. Does that include the one I've just drawn, I wonder? I will check, and then I'll be back with you, alright? I'm going to edit, like I said, I'll edit all this checking out. Okay, so I just found the answer on good old Google. In fact, I literally just Googled Arkham Horror Paranoia, because I was like, this has definitely been brought up very commonly. So when you draw Paranoia, the way it technically works is you draw a card and gain a resource. So that means the resource gaining happens afterwards. So when we draw this, we resolve it, and that means we discard the 2 resources that we had previously. Then after we draw a card and resolve it, we then gain a resource, right? So we have 1 resource according to the according to person on Google. So thank you, person on Google. I guess we'll just crack on. So that's the upkeep phase. Yeah, that's the upkeep phase. It's fine. So the Mythos phase happens. Doom token. We got quite a while before that ticks over. There's like 7 things for it, so that's pretty good. It's going to be a while before we get past Rise of the Ghouls. Then we draw a card from the top. Okay, Treachery, Dissonant Voices. Revelation, put Dissonant Voices into play in your threat area. You cannot play assets or events. At the end of the round, discard Dissonant Voices. Okay, so we hear some Dissonant Voices in the distance. They're pretty fucking distracting, very spooky stuff. So yeah, for this turn we can't play events or assets. Okay, so all you guys can't do shit for us, but that's actually fine. We've got a decent amount out right now, so I'm not sweating it too hard. Plus the attic is only like one shroud value, so we should be able to actually quite easily succeed this next test, and then that means we can go back and we're all good. Yeah, so I guess we start the investigation phase. Okay, first things first, we're going to obviously investigate. It's only a value of 1. We should crush this one. No auto fail. -4. Wait, what was our value? Holy shit, it's actually going to be close. So with 3, then +2 for these two. So that's 5. So -4. We actually still succeed. That's fucking hilarious. I don't believe it. Alright, -4. Pretty bad. That's certainly the case. But I guess in this case it doesn't matter. Anyway, we gain a clue. When we gain a clue, we gain a resource due to Dr. Millen Christopher. This dude's fucking OP, by the way. Holy shit, this seems so strong. So that's first action. Second action, we'll move back to the hallway. And then we've got one action left. We're going to take it over. But I just realised I never read the attics. I never read the attics thing, flavor text. So the bloody carcass of a malformed beast swings from a meat hook chained to the ceiling. Blood drains slowly from the carcass, dripping into a small barrel. Pretty gnarly, gotta say. Some of the art in this game is genuinely horrifying, by the way. It'll be up on screen, so you'll have seen a decent chunk of it, but everyone who knows the game knows, I guess. Anyway, so we'll travel back to the hallway, and then we're going to use our 3 clues to put them on this, and then we succeed. So, we have to do it in the hallway as well, remember, because that was one of the conditions. When the round ends... Oh, wait, no, hang on. When the round ends, investigators in the hallway may, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance. So we actually don't have an action, because it sounds like we have to do this at the end. Okay. Breaking the barrier. Using the barrel from the attic, you carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. The barrier sparks and shudders as it consumes the ice and then hisses and fades out of existence. The barrier blocking the passage into the parlor has vanished. Reveal the parlor. Okay. So we reveal the parlor. Oh god, that is... what is going on in there? Jesus Christ. Okay, resign. This is too much for me. You run out the front door fleeing in panic. I have no idea what that means. But there's an action on it that does that. Okay, I'll tell you what. Before we read on to that, let's read the rest of this card. So put the set-aside Lisa Chanter into play in the attic. Okay, or in the parlor, sorry. Spawn the set-aside Ghoul Priest in the hallway. Okay. That seems pretty bad. Alright, I guess first things first, to understand how this works exactly. Because I would imagine, not 100% sure, but I would imagine the Ghoul Priest actually immediately engages with me. But I'm not sure, because that's what the book sort of says. Hang on, let's have a look. So that's that done. What have you done is the next and final objective in Act 3. So, Act 3A. What have you done? A woman with a torch stands in your parlor. A glimmer... Wait, hang on one sec. Oh, I guess do we move into the parlor at the end of that last thing? It just says reveal the parlor. It doesn't say go into it necessarily. Yeah, it just says reveal the parlor. Put the set-aside Lisa Chandler into play in the parlor. Spawn the set-aside Ghoul Priest in the hallway. But the next thing kind of says we're in the parlor. That's interesting. I wonder how that works. Okay, a woman with a torch stands in your parlor, a glimmer of hatred in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams, furious, before you can answer. A ghostly wail sounds behind you, and a creature wearing robes, and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing towards you. Objective: if the Ghoul Priest is defeated, advance. So we just have to kill the Ghoul Priest. That's all we have to do. Okay. I think we are supposed to be in the parlor. Well, let me go Google this one as well, just real quick. Again, I'll edit this out, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so based on a little bit of Googling, it seems that what I'm doing is basically correct. So I'm in the hallway, the Ghoul Priest comes into the hallway. That means the Ghoul Priest immediately engages me. Oh, sorry, no, hang on. The enemy, I think, one sec. Let me double check. So enemy engagement. An enemy will engage immediately if it spawns in a ready state. Hang on. Okay, so assuming I'm understanding this correctly, and chat, you're going to have to help me out on this one, since I'm new to this game. My understanding is that we are in the hallway. When we beat the previous objective, we didn't move, so we stayed in the hallway. Oh my god, I can't pick up these cards now all of a sudden. Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to read my understanding, and then chat can tell me if I'm correct. So basically, we're in the hallway. Lisa is in the parlor. We open the door to the parlor, and I guess she shouts what the text that I just read to you. She shouts that through the parlor into the hallway, because we're not actually in the parlor, we're still in the hallway. The Ghoul Priest shows up in the hallway, and then immediately engages with us. I believe that is correct, because when you're in the same location as an enemy and it's ready, it just engages with you straight up. Dissonant Voices gets discarded at the end of the round. Ghoul Priest engages. Ghoul Priest attacks, so in this case it deals 2 hearts and 2 brain damage. I don't think there's any way we can avoid that, as far as I can tell, but please someone tell me if I'm playing this wrong, because I'm definitely not sure this is correct. But yeah, it deals 2 damage and 2 brain damage. We will actually, I'll tell you what, we're going to go down to like quite low. We've only got 5 horror health. So I think, because it's dealing 2, we'll place 1 on Dr. Millif and Christopher, which we can place any amount of damage across any of our allies. But you can only have 1 ally, right? So generally it's going to be 1 person. So we'll place 1 brain damage on Christopher instead of us. In fact, actually, you know what? We'll place 2 and let him die, because what we want to do is we want to get Lisa as an ally anyway. So yeah, okay. Now, from what I understand, we could, if we want, in terms of options on our next turn, we could ignore the Ghoul Priest and try to just run while he's engaged to us. And if we do that, he gets an attack of opportunity. So he gets to like kind of swing at us as we're retreating. So instead we're going to try and evade him. I think that's probably wiser. Plus we have like manual dexterity, so we should be able to like achieve it. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't know. We'll have a think before we decide that. But anyway, the point is we should be able to make something happen, I guess. But either way, he's engaged with us right now. And we want to evade him instead of letting him have a free attack, so we're pretty low on health. So that's the objective being revealed at the end of the Investigator Phase. Now we go on to the... Oh god, what phase was it? I think it was the Reset Phase. Oh no, the Enemy Phase, that's it. But we did that. That was just the Ghoul Priest attacking. So now we go to the Upkeep Phase. So we ready everything, which is done. We draw a card. Okay, we got Deduction, which is a skill. So this is an intellect skill. And if it's successful while investigating a location, discover 1 additional clue at that location. That's really strong, actually. Holy shit. No use now whatsoever, but that's fine. Get a resource. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we don't need to discard down. Actually, I counted wrong. We have 6 in hand, so we don't need to discard down. Draw a card off the top of the encounter deck. Ancient Evils, Revelation. Place 1 doom on the current agenda. This effect can cause the current agenda to advance. So, discard that. This goes on to here. Then we do... Oh, we should have actually put a counter on this previously in the Mythos Phase. So yeah, we would have placed 1 on that during the Mythos Phase. Then we would have drawn a card. But it's fine, it just put an extra 1 on. So that's fine. Now it's our turn again. Okay, so we got some problems, that's for sure. Our evade is pathetically low, which is a little scary, to be honest with you. But I mean, I don't think we have any choice. I think we basically have to try and evade him. We can pump our evade to 5, which is pretty good. We have to... It's 4 to evade him. Let me just check the evade enemy rules again. I'm pretty sure it's a case of you do a skill check against the enemy's evade value, and if you succeed, you exhaust the enemy and put them into the room, and then you can just move freely. Yeah, that's basically it. The problem is if we fail, though, because if we fail, we don't really move anything forwards, but I think we have to try. So we'll evade the enemy. We'll discard a Manual Dexterity, and we'll also discard a Mind Over Matter. So we're up to 5 total. So we need -1 or better, which isn't great, to be honest. Man, this guy's evade fucking sucks. Oh, I think we've done it. We've got a really weird... We've got this weird token. So this is... So this does an effect based on our character. So the effect of Roland Banks is +1 for each clue at your location. There aren't any, so it does nothing. But that does mean we succeed. So, the Ghoul Priest goes back to the hallway and is exhausted. That's our 1 action done. We've successfully disengaged. We're going to spend 1 action to move over to here. Then, we are going to spend an action to do Parley, which is an action on the Parlor. And basically... Wait, are there any clues on the Parlor? No, but it has a shroud value. That's so weird. I wonder how that could be used in the future. I'm sure there's cards that use it, but yeah, weird anyway. So while LOTR Chandler is not controlled by a player, she gains spend an action, test 4 intellect versus, do a 4 intellect test, and then if you succeed, gain control of LOTR. So we are definitely going to be doing that. Oh, wait, are we? I don't think that counts. You know what? I just realised that doesn't count as an investigate, so we don't get the buff off the thing we were just talking about. Yeah, that doesn't... I don't think that... Yeah, I don't think that counts as an investigate. I'll just go Google it real quick, because that's a pretty big game changer if it doesn't. Okay, I can't find a quick, easy answer, but that's another one that chat, let me know if I'm playing this wrong. But basically, what I don't believe it would, because it just says Parley, test intellect. I don't think that's an investigate action. So actually, it's going to be really hard to grab her, to be honest. Because she is... We need 4 intellect to actually get her. And we only have 3. Is what it boils down to. Plus, I've already done 2 things. Fuck, man, I don't know. I guess we could still pump... You know what? I still think it's worth trying this. So, we're going to try and do Parley test 4. Then we're going to discard Deduction and Flashlight to pump it by 2. Because we can discard as many cards as we want from our hand. And I think we basically need her to beat the Ghoul Priest. Because we don't have like a good weapon or anything. And he's got so much health. He has 5 health per player, which is still only just 5. But still, that's pretty bad. -1. So we actually do get her. Because we had 5 versus 4. Oh, thank fuck. Alright. So, -1. Sorry, I didn't show the token. Okay. So while you control LOTR Chandler, she gains... every investigator at your location gets +1 to fight. And when an investigator at your location successfully attacks a monster, that investigator deals +1 damage. So she pumps her damage against the Ghoul Priest by 1, and she also pumps her fight by 1, which is very good, because his fight value is 4. So by default, we're above it, which is really good, again. And we only need to attack 3 times, I believe, to kill it. Cool, so that's the end of the Investigate phase. So now we go to the enemy phase, I believe, in which the enemy can't do anything, in this particular case. Then we go to the Upkeep phase. So, ready everything up. The Ghoul Priest is readied. You know what, I think we get a turn of prep, funnily enough. Yeah, I think we get a turn of prep, which is actually really fucking good. Yeah, so we unexhaust. We draw a card. We got gain 3 resources. That's actually pretty good. We gain a resource. Then we go to the Mythos phase. Put a Doom token on the agenda. Rip a card off the top. Swarm of Rats. That's fine. We can kill the rats pretty easily. Cool. So we go to the next Investigator phase. Okay. First things first, there's no reason not to gain the resources right off the bat, I don't think. So that... Oh, wait, no, that's an action, because it's an event. Actually, maybe we don't want to do that yet, then. I guess first things first, we just kill the rats, right? I think we kill the rats, then we use the Book of Lore. Yeah. Yeah, I think we use the Book of Lore. Because we want to try and dig for fight cards so we can fight this Ghoul Priest. I think that's currently where we're at. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's give that a shot. So first things first, we'll fight the rats. That's one action. We got 0, so rats are dead. Oh, you know what I just realised? Some of these cards have victory on them, and that's for the campaign, so I should probably set them aside, but I don't know if any of the things we've killed have had victory on them. Yeah, literally nothing so far, okay. Oh, you know what? The Cellar has victory one. That's interesting. I wonder if, because we cleared all of the clues here, that counts as a victory. I'll Google that afterwards, and then I guess we'll just, you know, I'll know for next video, basically. But yeah, that's the rats done. Next, we'll use the Book of Lore for our second action. We get a knife. Oh, we got the 45 automatic. That's perfect. Okay, I mean, I don't see any reason to grab anything other than the 45 automatic. So, with the gun, it gets 4 ammo, but we can spend 1 ammo to do a fight action. You get +1 to attack, and then it deals 1 damage. That means we only have to hit them twice, and we succeed. The machete is also pretty good, though. The machete gives +1 to attack. If the attacked enemy is the only engaged, it's also +1/+1. And we can use it as many times as we want. But if we get engaged with 2 enemies at any point, then that could be rough. So I think we're actually just going to take the 45 automatic. I don't know if it is actually better, but whatever. Let's try it. Shuffle it into my deck. Alright, this has gone pretty well, actually, to be honest. I understand how this game works now. I'm starting to get the flow. It's pretty cool. I'm starting to see the... Also, one thing I was worried about is earlier when I said I'm not sure if I'll prefer this to Lord of the Rings or whatever, because I quite like games that are like puzzly and they seemed a bit too random. I'm starting to see slightly how the combat can kind of... Like, there's a lot of skill in the combat. Because you can... evading the Ghoul Priest is actually pretty good because it stops him attacking for, like, an entire turn. So there's going to be... I think there's going to be a lot... Later in the game, when you fight multiple enemies at once, I would imagine anyway, there's going to be a lot of enemy management. So you got to decide who to evade, how many turns you got before the evaded enemies are going to come back and fight you, shit like that, right? It's all about management of resources, and I kind of dig that. Alright, that's probably enough shuffling. Okay, so we got a 45 automatic, and then we're going to put it into play, and that is our last action, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get rid of the magnifying glass, put out the 45 automatic. Get 4 ammo. I'm assuming you just use resource tokens to represent ammo, because I have no idea what else you're supposed to use. Okay. Unfortunately, we can't really do anything about the enemy this round. They're just going to smack us. 100%, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're out of stuff to do, so... Yeah, I think that was all 3 actions, right? Rats, Book of Lore, play the gun. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. Alright. So, that's the end of that phase, the enemy phase. So, hunter enemies move. He is a hunter. So, he's going to move from the hallway to the parlor because it's connected. When he gets here, because he's readied, he comes straight down to the engagement area. And then he is just going to fucking whomp us. Okay. We can split the damage, so I guess we should. We'll take... So he deals 2 damage and 1 horror. Sorry, 2 damage and 2 horror. So we'll take 1 damage and 1 horror each between me and Lita. And then next turn, we just want to fucking blast his ass back to the Stone Age, I guess. Okay, cool. So, Upkeep Phase, ready everything, draw a card. We got a Research Librarian, costs 2. After it enters, player can search a deck for a tome asset, but we've already got our tome out as our Book of Lore. So yeah, we can't really do anything with him. He gives us evade, though, if we want to try evading the ghoul, I guess. But honestly, there's a good chance we can just kill it this turn. We've got to get 2 successful fights, which I don't think is going to be too hard. Yeah, I honestly think we're just going to go for the kill. So we draw that, gain a resource, discard down to 8, which we don't need to do. Mythos Phase, this gets a token. This is really close to succeeding. then we draw a card off the top of here. Grasping Hands, Revelation, test 3 agility. For each point you fail by, take a damage. We're definitely going to be you. Oh, wait, hang on. We have 2, we have to test 3. Oh, that's real bad. Oh my god. Tempted to just throw everything at Ix. Failing that would be not great. I guess we have quite a lot of health, actually. It depends. Okay, so here's the question, right? If we hit the Ghoul twice, we just win. But if not, then we might want to use the last one to try and evade. And if we do that, we're almost definitely going to fail the evade if we don't have manual dexterity. You know what? This is going to sound... I guess if we get a -4, we're just dead, right? Because that's... For every point we fail, we take a damage. We have 6 health. If we draw a -4, that's 3... plus 2, that's 5 damage. So it's not quite death, actually. This is a toughie. We could always just pump it by 1 and leave manual dexterity for the Ghoul Priest. Just in case. Not that that increases our odds really that much, actually, thinking about it. I think we'll okay, we're definitely discarding the Research Librarian. Because I actually don't... Like, we have no use for him whatsoever. Okay, let's try this. So we're matching it. We just don't want to get fucked too hard by the draw. Come on, bag. That's a -3. That's pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. So we're on 0. So we take 3 damage. That's really bad. there's no way of sugarcoating it. Taking 3 damage from that check is rough. So that puts us on 3 HP. Yeah, that puts us on 3 HP. That's pretty bad. There's no other way of putting it. But we do live. So I guess there is that. Okay. I guess we just move to our turn. So, I mean... Oh, shit. We can only use the gun once. No, never mind. Ignore me. Sorry. We can use the gun as many times as we want. So we'll spend an ammo. We'll fight. So we currently have a fight value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has a value of 4. We need better than -3. We can pump it by 1 using medical text, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think we're just going to go for the kill. Yeah, because we've got +2 to damage, so we only need to hit it twice. It's got 5 HP. I think we just go for it. So first action, we take a shot at the Ghoul Priest. Come on, baby. -4's not very good. So we were at... Yeah, that's a fail. We have 2, he has 4. That's a fail. Okay. Well, I mean, we're going to try 2 more times. The odds of failing here are pretty low, I think. Okay, so shot number 2 is a -3. Are you kidding me? So we just miss again? I think? Yeah, because we have 6. Yeah, we have 6 versus 4, so we have 3 actually. Oh my god, that's rough. Okay. I don't love the idea of taking another hit, I'll say that much. Man, I'm wondering if I should just play medical text, but we can't this turn. You know what? Fuck it. We can both take 1 more damage off each thing. The evade has a really low chance going through. I think we just hit him again, dude. Just whack him 1 more time. Fuck it. I think we are more likely to succeed than fail if we just keep attacking. I haven't run the maths, but I suspect this is the case. We're in the parlor, so if we want, we can always just piece the fuck out. We can always flee. Please. What did I draw? -1. Okay, so it's 1 success at long last. Okay. So we deal 3 damage to the enemy. That's just a very wounded Ghoul Priest. But that's the end of that turn. So we now go to the enemy phase. It's already engaged with us. It's just going to smack us. I'm going to take 1 of each type. And Lisa Chandler is also going to take 1 of each type again. In fact, you know what? Let me clean this up a little bit. Just tokens absolutely everywhere, my dude. Okay, there we go. There we go. So we've taken 7 to the heart and 4 to the brain. So we can't take any more damage from anything. It's a pretty precarious spot to be in, to be honest, but that's okay. So he's already attacked us, that's fine. So now we go to the upkeep phase. Everyone ready's up, everything is already ready. We draw a card. Vicious Blow! That pumps our attack by 1. Okay, we only need to hit 1 more time. We're using all our cards all out for the next attempt and hope it works. And we get +1 damage to that attack. Not that it matters at this point. Because he's dead regardless if we succeed. But still, that's +2 to our fight. So we need, even a -4 would succeed. I think we're good, that means, probably. But either way, first pop that there. So we get an extra resource. Go to the Mythos Phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're fine. It's 7 to go to the next thing, and then we draw a card. Frozen in Fear. Put Frozen in Fear in play in your threat area. The first time you perform the following actions, move, fight, or evade, it costs 1 additional action. That's fine. At the end of your turn, test against your willpower. For 3, if you succeed, discard it. That's actually completely fine. It just means our attack's going to be 2 attacks. But, I mean, we're hoping we don't fail on this attack. So, it's our turn. We go to our actions. Yeah, we go to our actions. We'll just do an attack. We're going to shoot with the 45 automatic. We'll discard both medical texts and also Vicious Blow to pump it by 2. So 4, 6, 7, 8. We just have to not draw the auto fail and I think we win. I don't think there's any -5s in this bag from what I remember. Are you ready for the auto fail? I am. It'll be so fucking good if we draw it. Oh my goodness, shuffle that shit. Okay. Wish me luck, chat. -3, we did it. We blast his fucking ass away. The Ghoul Priest is dead. He's got victory 2 on him, so we put this separate because that becomes part of our XP pool. Okay. If the Ghoul Priest is defeated, advance. Defending the home. When the robed creature falls, the fiendish swarm burrows back into the ground, and the chaos of the house quiets, but the stranger in your parlour doesn't seem relieved. You broke my seal that was set to trap the ghouls within. She raises her torch. Now we must take more direct measures and burn this hell pit to the ground. The lead investigator must decide. Choose one. It was never much of a home, burn it down. Or this hell pit is my home, no way we are burning it down. Oh fuck, I don't know, man. I mean, this is my home. It does seem a little fucked. Honestly, I think I'm on burn it down, man. I think it's the only sensible thing to do in this situation. What, you're gonna really live in a house now that has frozen cellars, blood dripping from the attic, and just a hallway of roots and shit? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we gotta burn this shit down. Okay. So burn it down is R1, resolution 1. Okay. Okay. For no okay, not that. Resolution 1. You nod and allow the red-haired woman to set the walls on your floor of your house ablaze. The fire spreads quickly and you run out the front door to avoid being caught in the inferno. From the sidewalk, you watch as everything you own is consumed by flames. Come with me, the woman says. You must be told of a threat that lurks below. Alone, we are surely doomed, but together we can stop it. In your campaign log, record that your house was burned to the ground. The lead investigator earns the Lisa Chandler card and may include it in his or her deck. This card does not count towards the investigator's deck size. Welcome to the gang, Lita. The lead investigator shuffles 1 mental trauma from watching his or her home become a smouldering ruin. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory points of each card in your victory display. Remember to add illegible locations to the victory display as well. Okay, so I guess this cellar just gets added, but because we didn't complete the attic, we don't get anything from that. I believe that's how that works. Each investigator earns 2 bonus XP as he or she gains insight into the hidden world of the Mythos. So, we end that mission with 5 XP to spend. We'll do all of the spending at the end of the next... you know what, in fact, we'll do everything at the start of the next video, instead of right now, in terms of all of the XP, upgrading, and also the mental... gaining a mental trauma. We'll do that all before the next video, alright? Cool. That was that. That took a fucking while, but that was actually really fun. Cheers for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Then I'm gonna have to. I mean, next one should be a lot smoother now. I actually understand how the game's played, which is good. I may do some. I don't know if we can do deck building in between missions, so I think we're just gonna have to leave it. The deck building will have to just be down to like upgrading cards and stuff. So I think we'll just have to go from here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, do let me know. I know this was probably like not the best video in the world for this, because again, this was literally my very, very first attempt at this game or whatsoever. Hopefully the video comes out better. It's felt like it's taken ages, but maybe I can cut it down by like half or something. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was a cool game. I'm definitely going to complete this campaign at the very least, and then we'll see what we're doing from there. There's a good chance I'll decide to just play through the whole game like I'm doing with the Lord of the Rings game. But yeah, we'll see when the time comes. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know if there's anything I can do to improve the video. And also do let me know about those rules that I may or may not have got wrong. I'm pretty sure everything I did made sense. I'm pretty sure it all seemed logical, so should be fine. But yeah, I guess that's that. Cheers for watching, everyone. I'll see you all around.